Hello guys, welcome once again to Think Tank TV. Now, as Nigeria marks her 64th independence ceremony, an interdenominational service was held at the National Ecumenical Center with creme de la creme politicians like Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Senate President in person of Akpabio, ministers, security chiefs, and name them. Creme de la creme politicians were in attendance live and direct. In their usual way, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in person of Akume and the Senate President, Akpabio, eulogized Nigerians, raising their hopes to believe that Nigeria was going to be a better place. Swiftly, just a few hours ago, Rufai and Dr. Abati have tackled them, urging them to act rather than words, as they have gone ahead to say, talk is cheap. I'd like you to take a look at the words of wisdom from Dr. Abati and Rufai that has generated a lot of reactions. Please intentionally do well to also drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let's get to know what you think about the words of Dr. Abati and Rufai, and we shall continually be here to serve you.
I have a dream, and I've always had a dream that this country is going to measure up and do well, and even going to be a beacon of hope to the world. I have a dream that Nigeria has immense realization of its potential. I see Nigeria, and this was said, I think it was by Napoleon, many years ago before China emerged. Napoleon Bonaparte did say that China is a sleeping giant, that when it wakes it will shake the world. And I also believe that Nigeria is that sleeping giant, that when it wakes it will shake the world. But you see, the thing about dreams, they are good, but reality is even better. The problem is, the reality is banditry. Bandits playing on TikTok and protesters being arrested. Division, propelled and started by our founding fathers. And it has led us to this time. Wars of division everywhere. People being told that have lived all their lives in Lagos that they're not from here because of politicians and elections. People being divided across political lines. And in other parts of the nation, people being told that you're not from the north, you're not from the south, go back to where you're from. Because it's across board. The reality is dark, that the president didn't think through it before he pulled out subsidy, and he also went ahead to devalue the currency. I was part of those that championed subsidy removal because of the corruption. But before you pulled out subsidy, you should have checked the corruption in the system. Then you cannot pull out subsidy and also float the currency to strangulate the people, to destroy their prospects. We see a country that has a fiscal problem and a lot of deficit, but the budget is still being padded. Just imagine the revelations of budget. How can the Ministry of Oceanography be buying keke marua for people? How can the National News Agency be buying keke marua, that's tricycles, or rickshaws for people? How can other ministries of government be involved with all sorts of frivolous projects? So Senator Nnamdi was right. You have the Senate as a rubber stamp. You have politicians with a lot of cases of corruption, reeks up to the high heavens. You have an NNPC that's not been able to tell us what is going on as regards how much fuel we're consuming. So, with all the dreams I have, I'm also seeing the reality. But you see, the bridge between the dreams I have and the reality of Nigeria, what will take Nigeria from this bad reality we have to the good dreams we have, will be leadership. And that's why Nigerians must not vote in bad leaders, must not support evil because they're from their ethnic group. So, this is the This is the time we need to tell ourselves the truth. Because as we speak today at 64, Nigeria is crippled. The leg is suffering from arthritis. The hand is suffering from bone failure. The eyes is suffering from vision glaucoma. The brain is suffering from early onset of Alzheimer's. But you know what? We can re-engineer the body of Nigeria and bring in a redemption by having a holistic stem cell to be able to revive the body system of Nigeria and make Nigeria better. Are we ready?
Are we ready? That's the question, Dr. Abati.
Okay, first, congratulations to Nigeria at 64. If you give birth to a child, 64 years ago, by now that child is supposed to have certain, attributes, including maturity, some level of wisdom, and will be expected to have achieved certain things in life, except that child is, an effluent. I'm a successful person. So at 64, Nigeria, I think that, the 64th anniversary of our independence calls for sober reflection. And it is as follows, apart from congratulating Nigeria. Number one is a statement made yesterday by Senator Akpabio. By the way, I saw one newspaper say Senator Akpabio was standing in for the First Lady. No. He was not standing in for the First Lady. He was there in his bona fide de facto capacity as number 3, citizen of Nigeria. The president and the vice president being both Muslims. Those are the people we voted for. So it's a misnomer. It's a case of misreporting for any newspaper to say he was standing in for Senator Tinubu. He was there as number 3. And the point that he made, it's about optimism. He was expressing the hope that, our path may be bumpy, but Nigeria will get there someday. He restated the message about renewed hope, which is what this government has always been saying. But the major point that I think Senator Akpabio made that resonated with me was the point he made about the resilience of the Nigerian. I think that if we were to choose man of the year, or person of the year, or subject of the year, it should be the Nigerian, who has been very resilient. Senator Akpabio used the phrase, the indomitable spirit of the Nigerian. It's a miracle how Nigerians still manage to smile and dance and party every weekend, despite the hardship that they are saddled with. And I think that that's an important message. Is the Nigerian that we should celebrate. And the whole purpose of this celebration is about that Nigeria. Number 2 is that I see that across the country, at the federal level, at the state level, there is a lot of celebration week-long. They should be careful how they celebrate. This should not become an opportunity for certain government officials to feed fat because they are celebrating 64th anniversary. The ordinary Nigerian people, I don't know whether we are celebrating. We are just saying, well, thank God, we have survived this far. Number 2, or whether it's the third point, is a point made by Senator George Akume, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. He again told the same line as Senator Akpabio, but he called for hope also, and he asked for the support of President Olusegun Obasanjo for this administration. Well, it's okay for a government to ask for support, but will President Obasanjo support the administration? What kind of support actually is he asking for? Finally, what I'm reminded of on this occasion of the 64th anniversary of Nigeria's independence is a 1998 book, 392 pages, written by Professor Eosa Osage, currently the Director General of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, the NIA. He wrote, Crippled Giant, the story of Nigeria's since independence. So Nigeria is truly, as Professor Osage pointed out in 1998, a crippled giant. As another person wrote, I've forgotten the name of that professor now, a giant with the feet of clay. How do we make sure that this potential giant rises? That is the challenge, not the parties that will be held.
All right, I think, yes, I'm going to start this morning by applauding the resilient spirit of the Nigerian people. Despite all that has gone on and the fact that the cost of living has gone astronomically high, a lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. Still, daily, Nigerians rise up and just try to ensure that they are able to keep body and soul together and not give up. So when it comes to hope and renewed hope, I must say that the giver of hope in most cases are the Nigerian people who have to give themselves pep talk sometimes to stand up and against all odds still achieve. For small business owners who against all odds ensure that their businesses are still running and they're still able to maintain the employment of a significant number of the labor market in Nigeria. Kudos to everyone out there who is still keeping the hope alive despite prevailing economic issues. I just say this, tomorrow hopefully we'll hear from the president if he would give an Independence Day address. And some of the things I would like to hear beyond the usual rhetoric is just a message of hope that details why people should be hopeful. Some of the things and interventions to address the continuous suffering of the Nigerian people despite the many complaints and agitations and even protests by the people themselves. So let's hear what he's going to do and see whether he would then hear finally about the conditional cash transfers, the updates on what had been done prior in terms of the distribution of agricultural fertilizers, tons of food to different, and the bags of rice to different states. Let's get a bit of a sense of the impact of that, because the first thing a number of Nigerians are saying is sort out the issue of hunger. First of all, we are hungry. We cannot even begin to think of productivity as a nation if people are not even able to eat.
You've seen it for yourself. Now, this is what you get when the people lose confidence in the government. It should not be the time when Nigerian politicians would now begin to, in the name of celebration, spend frivolous amounts of money, all in a bid to satisfy their personal self. Can make bold to say Nigerians are obviously not celebrating the so-called independence of 64 years. Because the pain and hardship, the economic turmoil on the people, I never think is enough to put a smile on their faces. And the Nigerian government must do well to understand that this is the time to act swiftly. Please, we'd like you to do well to drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let's get to know what you think about the 64th independence of Nigeria, and we shall continually be here to serve you. Many thanks indeed to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We really do not take it lightly. My name again is Moses, and this is Think Tank TV. See you on our next video.